So Chris works in radio, don't you, Chris? So
you're radio and podcast now, yeah.
Right, so we're expecting him to be a pro. Talk to someone who's had experience of the, rehabs. Yeah. Bought a bottle of Baileys.
I get hot flushes, I did say, and I go bright red.
Ready to go?
Yeah, no. Recorded.
All right, so...
Mountbatten cared for my mum in the final few weeks of her life. She'd been ill with cancer for a very long time.
I have cancer. I've got stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, and it's spread to my bones.
I was given 6 months without treatment, or I could have life-changing surgery, but it wouldn't cure it, or 18 months if I had chemotherapy treatment. So I opted to that because I still got a lot of things to do.
Mountbatten cared for my brother amazingly at the end of his life. I don't think we could have obviously got through the last 4 months without their help. So they came to our house every single day.
For a couple of years, they have been saying you should go to Mountbatten, you should try the gym there. And I was like, no, definitely not. Mountbatten is not for me. I could not have been more wrong. As soon as I came in here, it's bright and it was airy, and every single person welcomes you with a smile.
You know, the word hospice was scary, and I can remember thinking, oh God, I really, really don't want to go there. But, I came up here and was so surprised at what it's like. It's just so not what you think it's going to be like.
As soon as we walked in, some of that terror dropped away because it was immediately obvious that she was in exactly the right place.
And that was on Jubilee Day, so I came over so that I could watch the Jubilee with her, recently, and they got her a crown and we then went and had a Jubilee lunch and everything as well.
The food here is really good. Mum really liked it, but for a while she'd stopped eating. She didn't want to eat anything. And then one afternoon, she suddenly decided she did want something to eat, but not just anything. She had discerning tastes. She wanted a tomato and egg roll on white bread. Had to be white bread. So I walked round the corner and went to the nurse's station and poked my head round the corner and said, "Oh, I'm really sorry to bother you. My mum, Sally, in room 12, she wants something to eat." And within 10 minutes, probably, maybe not even that, my mum had her tomato and egg roll, white bread, exactly as she'd asked for. And I remember this so vividly. She bit into it and she smiled. And it's only a tomato and egg roll, but at that moment, it just meant so much. And it lifted our spirits because we were seeing her happy.
And one of the things that my mum really, really wanted to do was to go and have an ice cream on the seafront. They obviously picked up on that and said that they would take her, organised to take her to the seafront and get her an ice cream, which, was absolutely amazing.
Good friend of mine now, Fraser Simpson, who I've got to know. I found out he does music therapy sessions, and I've been coming to them on a weekly basis, which has been really good for me to get my back into my music, which I have done on and off for over 30 years.
When the drinks trolley used to come round at midday, she would say, "Oh yes, I'll have a glass of Baileys." And I can remember being here myself and sort of like being quite alarmed and saying, "Are you allowed to have that?" And the nurses would say she could have anything she wants.
I came up with a new song, and then not long after, I showed him another one of my poems called "If I Could Turn the Clock Back." And he looked at me again, and I knew what he was going to say. He said that could be a good song. So I put some music to it and some verses and made it into a song which me personally, even though I might say so myself, it's one of my favourites, and I think it's one of the best ones I've done.
They've given me the opportunity to build my confidence, to build my muscle up, And so I think if I didn't come here, I might not leave the house much at all, because I'd be worried that I would fall over.
They've made me come back out of myself and make myself feel, give me a purpose and feel alive again, because I lost so much with the diagnosis. And as I say, I had to reinvent myself, and Mountbatten has seen me right the way through all that.
We was given a little spray bottle to just spray water into her mouth when she was, obviously her mouth was dry and things. And they filled it up with Baileys so that we could spray Baileys in her mouth, which when she was still responsive on the Monday and Tuesday of that week, she was finding that really nice and quite amusing.
That period when you know that the end is coming, you want every possible moment with that person to be a nice one, a special one, because you know that time is running out. And we could just focus on that. We could focus on reminiscing and laughing and looking at pictures and reading her stories. And we knew that Mountbatten would take care of the rest.
When she died, the staff were outstanding with regards to my granddaughter, because she was there at that point. So, they stepped in, they were very supportive. And because even though that was my granddaughter, I emotionally found that quite hard at that point when my mum took her last breath. So I needed the staff to step in, and that's exactly what they did.
And it meant that in those final 3 weeks, she was still my mum. She was not someone that I had to look after and take care of. And I was still her son, and my brother was still her son, and my stepdad, her husband, Clive, was still her husband and not a carer.
And Don was not named my brother, he was my best friend.
If Mountbatten didn't exist, it would be heartbreaking.
After my mum died, Mountbatten got in touch and said that there was support available, bereavement counselling. And we started having sessions in person at first, and then via video call later on. And even though I wish I'd never had to do those sessions, because I only had to do them because I lost my mum, I can honestly say doing those sessions, it's one of the best things I've ever done.
I believe that Mountbatten gave my mum longer because she, at that point when she'd gone for that ice cream and everything, and just before she went home, she was so well, to the point that she was saying to us she thinks that they've made a mistake. They thought that, she kept saying to me, I think they've got the paperwork mixed up and that I've got someone else's paperwork because I feel so well.
Mountbatten means care, compassion, sensitivity, respect, love. I think, yeah. Because they really do love what they do. You can tell. The nurses, the doctors, the volunteers. Anybody who comes to Mountbatten, I think, should be lucky that Mountbatten exists.